Good morning, everyone. Today is January the 31st. We've officially reached the end of the month. Honestly, it's crazy to me how fast this month has gone by. Um, I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like this month has just zoomed past us. Um, but yeah, pretty crazy. Um, so announcements. Yes, one announcement I have to make is um the 100 subscriber special. Actually, yeah, it'll be posted in about 10 minutes. Actually, yeah, in less than 10 minutes, the 100 subscriber special will be published. So stay tuned for that. Um, I'm pretty excited for you guys to check that out. I'm also going to be posting that on the Instagram page. TikTok, though, unfortunately, the format for the video is not the best for TikTok. And it doesn't really make sense to post on TikTok what I'm doing. I think I'll keep it separate because TikTok, I'll keep separate for when I get to like 100 followers on there. I'll make a separate celebration. But for the YouTube channel, they'll be on, of course, posted on YouTube here and then on Instagram on the page, Voice O Steven. So, yeah, there's that announcement. Yesterday was part 35, and now it is part 36 today of Journey to Becoming a Voice Actor. It's pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, so the plan for today is I'm actually going to be revisiting something. I was scrolling through some of my older videos, some that I did at the very, very beginning. The first of which being my War Never Changes monologue. I listened back to it and I realized like there was a lot of stuff I could have improved on, and I have improved a lot since then. Excuse me. I have improved a lot since then. So I think we can do a much better job. Back then, I didn't know how to properly edit the audio like I do now. So now I'll actually be able to do that. And the microphone I have is significantly better. The noise floor is better. So I want to try it out with that. And we'll definitely record myself for this. I don't expect to get this today. It's possible. But we'll see if we can do it within the first just under 2 hours here now or so. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we're going until 1 o'clock today. Um, Decided to sleep in a bit. Still debating if I want to have the stream go a bit later or not. Start later, go from 10 to 1 versus 9 to 12. Um, but I think I do want to try to stick with 9 to 12. Oh yeah, one other announcement I will make. I know I've been rambling on for a little bit long. Is tomorrow I will not be streaming at 9 for the sole reason of I have to get a haircut. And I I think I could potentially still stream, most likely when I get back. I don't see why not. So I think I am going to do that. Yeah. yeah, I could still stream probably. So if anything, tomorrow's stream will just be later. Unless if something else does come up, we'll just save it till Friday and I'll move the stream to Friday. But I should be able to still stream tomorrow. It'll just be later. Anyways, so for today, we're going to be focusing on the War Never Changes narration, specifically from Fallout New Vegas. All right. Now if I can just see, I need to find. Okay, hang on. Fallout New Vegas intro script. Here we go. We'll copy that. We're going to put into the drive so it's easier to read. Um, so here's my idea. Um, I want to basically take what I did before and using a DALL-E 3, I want to generate images based on the narration. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to let me do that because I do want a visual of some sort. But I feel like we could maybe work around it. So, first thing we're going to do no matter what is we're going to read through it. Even if we can't like get the AI stuff, I want to at least say that I have the recording. Um, so we're gonna try. We'll practice first, of course, but yeah, I do want to try. Okay. Um, Let me open this up so I can see you guys in the chat. All right. Let's give this a shot. Actually, I don't even need the headphones on for this. This is just straight up narration. Let me move this over a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I need to. One thing I need to do though is I need to get a better setup for the microphone so I can actually read off the script more easily. Because the main issue right now is I have to always look to like right where I'm pointing here. Basically where the camera is where I'm pointing. I have to look here, but my microphone and stand are right here. So it's this direction versus that direction there. It's kind of hard to tell because the camera's blocking it a little bit. But yeah, it's like here versus here. So it's like a 45-degree angle essentially when it should be more like a 15-degree angle, or preferably 0 where it's just in the same spot. But we make it work. We make it work. Can always modify it later. Just not right now. All right, let's give this a shot. Actually, this is why I wanted to have my headphones on. Do a quick audio check. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3. I don't know about that. Test. Nope. That's not the right one. That is exactly why we test. That is exactly why we test this out. For that sole reason. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3. There we go. Test 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah. That's exactly why we test, so we don't. Oh. Hello. Sorry about that, guys. Just had to take a quick call there. All is good though. All right. So, we did the check. So yeah, we're gonna try this out. It's been over 2 months since I last tried reading this specific script, so I'm curious to see how this is gonna sound and all that stuff. But yeah, let's give it a shot. So we tested the audio. Looks good. I'm gonna decrease it a little bit because I know it's gonna be really loud once we normalize the audio. We'll decrease it just a little bit. We'll test it at this volume. And for this, I want it to be like, war. War never changes. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth. That kind of thing. Very deep. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned, training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package in the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse. All right. So now, keep in mind, this is a first take, but we're going to see what this sounds like now. New microphone, knowledge of all this editing I've been doing for the past 2 months. Let's see it's all being put into practice now. All right, so now we do our magic button. There it is. Beautiful. All right, let's give it a listen. War. War never changes. Changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic. Yeah, see, I could tell I was running out of breath there, so I need to woodshed this a bit better. The new California Republic. New California Republic. Dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east. That's the other difference too, right? Like, it's not just the fact that I have a new microphone, that I know all this new knowledge. It's the fact that I can now identify and be more critical of my own work. Because back then, when I recorded it, yes, I was critical. And I was like, oh, like, that's not good, that's not good, that's not good. I did lots of takes, I remember. I did do lots of takes, but there's a difference between how critical I was back then and now, because back then I was limited in my knowledge and practice. Yes, I was practicing before then, but not nearly as consistently as I have been doing now. Like now, like I practice what we do 4 streams a week, 3 hours a day. That's It's 12 hours a week right there. And that's not including the hours I put into editing and putting together the shorts, too. I would say a week for editing on average. Probably put in another like 5, 6+ hours. So I'm putting in a lot of more hours now than I was back then. Back then I was only doing like an hour a day. Now 12 hours a week on top of, everything else that's going on in my life. So I've been putting in a lot more work and it's starting to show. It's good. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth. In the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. Yeah, brushing in there. Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world.
and a great wall spanning the Colorado River.
I also need to be more expressive, like, like, and a, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River.
The NCR mobilized its army.
Excuse me. Wow.
And set it east.
Should really get a yawn counter for the stream, honestly.
To occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition.
Yeah. I'm already not a huge fan of this take. I feel like this is definitely going to be something I need to work on for the past, like, multiple days. What's going on, Eddie?
But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves.
Okay, that sounded pretty good. Yeah, all I need to do the deep voice, like, a vast army of slaves. Like that kind of. The new California Republic grew in size, with Caesar's legion waiting for them on the other side of the dam. Although at that point I'm sounding like I'm actually sounding like what's his name? Ulysses from the Lonesome Road DLC.
Forged in the conquest of 86 tribes.
Maybe that's a sign for me to do that character next.
Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam.
Yeah, mistake there. The Republic. Yeah, gotta watch out for those.
Just barely. Against the Legion's onslaught. Legion's onslaught. Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned. Training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots.
Whoops. You are a courier.
You are a courier.
That sounds good.
Are a courier. Hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package in the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job. Has taken a turn for the worse.
Alright, now let's listen to that with the music and see how it sounds. I don't think it's going to sound that great, personally, but we'll try it. And the music, of course, that I'm going to use, hopefully we don't get copyright. Please, YouTube. Please don't copyright. All right.
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned. Training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package in the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
Hmm. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we can fix in that for sure. Hmm. Weird. They don't have, because it's unreleased, right? So I guess I could do the ending theme. But that's more so for an ending. That's not for like. Because how long is this? 2 minutes and 40 seconds total. Yeah, so we'll make it work. Okay. I mean, we're not going to use this track, so we're just going to scrap that, and we're going to try again. So, here we go. All right, let's give this another go. Actually, I'm just going to quickly woodshed this. Basically, right now, I'm just writing in the script places I can take breaths. All right, let's try that out. Here we go. So remember, we want like deep voice, but projecting it. War. War. War never changes. War never changes. When atomic fire. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. Nah, I don't like how that sounds. We'll just do, war. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes.
As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River.
Okay. So we gotta do that, and then just make sure, not to mess up on the word republic.
4 years have 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam.
Oh, is my water bottle not here? Oh, it's over there. Hold on. But yes, the 100 subscriber special should be up by now on the channel, so you guys can go and check that out on YouTube. I will be posting it on Instagram during the first break too, as a reel. It'll be a lot longer than my usual videos because I know usually they're only about 30 seconds long. This is just a little over 5 minutes. I try to keep it nice and short because I know a lot of the 100 subscriber specials or just celebration videos, they're like 10 or even like 20 minutes long. It's like way too much. I prefer keeping it short, simple, and to the point. I try to, at least. So I kept it just a little over 5 minutes. So it's nice and short, but it's good. I'm happy with it. It talks about basically what the channel's about, why I'm making the content, and of course, thanking you all for supporting me through it all. And also giving you a preview of the work that I've done throughout these past 2 months. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, let's give this another take.
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned, training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that take either. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I feel like it was missing something still. Okay, maybe it was okay. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I don't know about that one.
War. War never changes. War. War never changes. 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 War never changes.
It shouldn't be war never changes. It should be
War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic. Dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth. In the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert, they returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads.
It's getting better. It's getting there. Still needs a little bit more, though.
That had scorched the rest of the world. And a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east.
Actually, if anything, it needs to be a little bit louder. I think that's also another thing. I need to increase the volume slightly.
To occupy the Hoover Dam. To occupy the Hoover Dam. To occupy and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes. Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam. Just barely. Against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned. Beat. Training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
All right, now let's give it a listen from the top with the music.
War. War never changed. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth, in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned, training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
All right. Not bad at all. All right. Well, I think we're going to take our first break for this on stream today. So I'll be back in 10 minutes and hopefully we can get this down. I am thinking this is probably going to take a few days because just the fact that I have to record it, edit it, and then listen back to it, it's that alone takes like 10-15 minutes every time I do that. So yeah, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes. So see you guys then. All right, and we are back. So let's give this a try. I just posted the video for the 100 sub special on the Instagram page, so you guys can check that out too on there. But it is up on the channel as well, so please do feel free to go check that out. Okay, so let's give this another try. This was a better take for sure. Main thing is volume needs to be a little higher, so we increased it a little bit. So we're gonna test that right now, actually. We're gonna boop, delete that.
War. War never changes. War. War never changes. War. War never changes.
Yeah, that's better. That is better for sure. All right. Let's give this a shot. We'll give it a shot. All right. There we go. Why would I do it anyone thing? Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Okay, let's go again. Okay, so the main thing is we have to have the consistent deep voice going throughout this whole thing. It's gotta sound good. It has to sound. I have to make it sound like you're really there, like I'm immersing you, like in what's going on, because this sets up the whole story for the game. So actually, you know what I'll try and do this take? I'm going to try and be a lot more like descriptive and careful of my wording. So I'll do something like, instead of just like war never changes. I'll go something like, war. No, needs to be deeper. War never changes. Now, see, that's too like, war. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east. See, I can't go off like scouts spread east. It has to be consistent. That's the really tough part with narrations is it has to be consistent with the tone and the pacing. If you change the tone, even if you have good pacing but the wrong tone, it completely ruins the immersion. If you have the right tone but the wrong pacing, it feels like you're just sitting through a really boring monologue. It's just dragging on. The voice is good, but it just drags on and on and on and on. So, need to find that golden mean in between. So we'll try again. Let's go again. Drink some water. I also have to update my LinkedIn and CV. I've got a few things to do today. War. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitant War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth. Fuck. It's not sounding how I want it to sound. It keeps going back to my default voice. That's the tricky part, right? Okay, we're going to keep practicing until we get it. I'm not going to start recording until I have the tone down that I want. This is something I need to just work on right now. Fix right now. Okay. War. No. War. War. War never changes. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumes. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. And then if I did it in my normal voice, it would just sound like war. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth, in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east
to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag, a vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Excuse me. Campfires burned, training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business, under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
So that's what it sounds like, just my normal voice. Now, if I adjusted and add a little, like, something to it, like, So instead of just like, war never changes, be like, war never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across the ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American South... You know what? I think I know what I'm actually doing wrong. I think I shouldn't be adding in any effects to my voice. I should just do it my regular voice. Because think about it this way. When I'm reading my book, Mastery, I'm not putting on a special voice for you guys. It's just me reading it. Like, I'll open up a random page here. Attending high school in the late 1960s, Daniel Everett was a bit of a lost soul. He felt trapped in the California border town of Holtville, where he grew up, and totally disconnected to the local cowboy way of life. So I think what I'm doing wrong is I'm overthinking this. I just need to do it as if I'm reading it off a book. Not like, war never changes. As decades pass, what had been the American... Because that's what I did before when I was recording this at first, like months ago. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll do a take where I'm reading this as if I'm reading it out of a book. And I'm just reading to you guys. This is like, I'm going to change my mindset to like, okay, this is reading time. I'm just reading this now to you guys. So you guys can like hear this story, or the introduction to a story, a new book that we're starting, as a scenario for this script. Okay, let's give it a shot. Let's see if that works. So no special effects on the voice, no going super deep for no reason, just natural speaking voice. The only time it would make sense for narration to do like a deeper or effect voice is if it's like, you know, something scary, or if it's like a dramatic moment, or it's a character speaking. But this is just pure narration. So let's give that a try.
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned. Training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse. All right. Let's see how that sounds with normal speaking voice. Normal narration reading voice, I should say. We'll give that a try. All right, so let's give it a listen. We're going to start editing now. War. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic. Yeah, I don't know. Now that I'm listening to it now, I think the normal speaking voice doesn't fit the theme of this narration. I think it has to have some kind of, it's got to be deeper tone, because this is just like speaking matter of factly, whereas this should be like something serious. It's like, oh, like, you know, atomic fire, like the world has been changed permanently. Now there's these new factions constantly fighting over resources. A republic dedicated to old world values of democracy. It was Ron Perlman
is the one that originally does this, and he has an amazing voice. His voice is great, but he has like this like deep, rich tone when he does this narration, and you're like instantly pulled in when he begins speaking.
And the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth. In the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert, they returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the NCR mobilized its army and set it east. It should sound more like
the NCR mobilized its army and set it east. Mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam.
Or, you know,
the NCR mobilized its army and occupied the Hoover Dam.
you know, that kind of thing.
And restore it to working condition.
And restore it to working condition versus like
and restore it to working condition.
And restore it to working condition. A nice, deep, rich voice. It sounds like I'm drinking a nice hot chocolate after shoveling a bunch of snow. Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm going for. Because this is just like matter of fact, blah, blah, blah.
But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes. Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam. Just barely. Against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned, training drums beat. Burned, training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots.
There's even a voice crack there.
You are a courier. Hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse. War. War never changes.
Well, now I'll listen back.
When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned. Training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
Yeah, so the issue with this is it's too casual. It's good if it sounds like a conversation, like conversational, which is what you should aspire to do for any kind of acting. But if it's like way too casual, then the immersion is just gone. So it needs to be a deeper, richer tone for sure. I think we've got time to do one more take or so. So let's give one more take. We're definitely not going to record today. I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll try tomorrow to get this down on video. But this will be good practice. This is the practice phase. And after we do this, finish editing it and listen back to it with the music, we'll take our last break and then we'll finish off the stream with some reading. All right. Okay. So instead of war never changes. It's war. War never changes. So fucking frustrating. Okay. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumes... Fuck, man. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived... It's okay. It's okay. The fact that it's frustrating me now a little bit and it's challenging means that this is exactly what I need to be doing. If I wasn't struggling at this and this was a cakewalk, then this is exactly what I shouldn't be doing because it's not challenging me enough. But this is challenging me, and it's good I'm revisiting this now. Because this is a very difficult script. This is very hard. It doesn't seem difficult, but nailing the tone and the pacing and everything consistently throughout 2 minutes and 40 seconds straight, it's hard. It's very hard. It was also hard for me to do the Enchanted Garden script because of that, because I did like intricate explanations of voice. It took me 2 streams in a row to do that. It was like 4 hours of recording of 4 hours combined of recording, editing, listening back with the music, and doing it again and again and again. So let's just fuck it. Let's just go for it. Even if we fuck it up, whatever. War. War never changes. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived war. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values and of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth. In the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert, they returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. War. War never changes. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values and of democracy and the rule of law. Yeah, so the deep voice is definitely better. And the rule of law. That's getting there. For sure, it's getting there. Let's try again.
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new ideas.
That's not the line. What am I doing? Oh, that's not the line. Form new idea. I mean, I guess they would form new ideas, but form new tribes. Oh my god, dude. Okay, one more try. Here we go. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth, in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag, a vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned. Training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form.
What's going on, Joe? Joseph Creech.
Establish new villages, form new tribes.
Yes, sir. Repping the BMPD. It's actually a comfy hoodie, too.
Establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Those who survived did great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages.
You can go check out the 100 sub special, by the way, Joe. It's up. It's up on the Instagram, and it's up on the channel, on the YouTube channel too.
New tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth. Seeking territory and wealth. In the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world. And a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes.
Got paid for the music video yesterday, man. Feels so good actually doing what I love and making decent money. That's fucking sick, man. I love that. That's awesome. I am so happy to hear that, bro. I'm glad they paid too. Cuz you never know. Some people are a little shady, but I'm glad they paid you and I'm glad that all went through. That's good shit, man. I'm sure you feel happy about that. That's something really good to have on your resume too. Extremely good to have. And from what you showed me, it looked really good.
4
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about your bread. Still worrying on the real estate. Oh, dude, I'm not worried about that. Don't worry. I'm chilling, man. I appreciate that though. My life's actually about to get a whole lot busier. On top of already what I'm doing with the live streams, the shorts I'm making, the gym, and everything else I'm up to. I'm going to be acting in a play this spring. I went to an audition. It was a 5-hour long audition. I made it past the first cuts where they cut like 17 people, and it was only 11 of us left. And I got a call the next day, and they offered me a role, and I accepted. So I'm gonna be rehearsing and performing in a play in May. I've never auditioned before at outside of like middle school for a play. So this is the first time I've ever like auditioned outside of school and gotten a role. And to get it first try too is like pretty crazy to me. But yeah.
4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam. Just barely.
Fuck yeah, man. Thanks, man.
Against the Legion's onslaught.
Yeah. It's really exciting.
Against the Legion's onslaught.
And the crazy thing is I almost like I almost didn't get it because at first when they called me, I said no. Because in my mind, the only reason why I went to the audition was like, hey, I'm doing this just for the experience. I'm not doing this to actually get the role because, you know, busy with my schedule or whatever. But then my brother, he came over that day and he was like, so, like, did you get a call back? I'm like, yeah, but I didn't say yes. And he was like, really? I'm surprised. Like, I don't know if, like, I think it's a good idea for you to take this. Like, this is a really good opportunity. And in that moment, I was sort of like, shit, you know what? He's right. Like, I need to fucking call back this person and see if I can still get this role. And at this point, it's been half an hour since I got the call. So I called back.
The Legion did not retreat.
And I said, hey, like, if you'll still have me, like, I'll
Across
take the
the
role.
river.
And they said, yeah, okay, that's good to know. Let me just ask the director. And I was, at this point, I was still thinking like, oh, like crap. Like they probably went with somebody else already. Like I completely screwed up this opportunity. But no, sure enough, I got a call back like a minute later, and she said, yeah.
They gathered strength.
We'd love to still have you as this character. So I got the role after all. But it's a good story for me to now that I can tell people of how, you know, taking a risk like that and, you know, taking those opportunities are really important. And this is going to be like a way bigger production than I've ever been a part of. You know, like school productions obviously are limited, but this is like this is like gonna be with like, you know, professional sets and everything. Like it's gonna be really cool. And it's 3 months of rehearsals. And they get more and more intense as the months go by. And I think it'll get to a point. You getting money from it or looking for the experience? No. So it is not paid. It is community theater, but it is really good experience. So yeah, I'm mainly doing this for the experience and to have it, something to put on my CV/resume. Um, and also like, I'm sure I'll meet a bunch of people through this too. And there's probably opportunities from connections I can make through this as well. So I feel like the experience of the connections I'll make from this experience will be good. Still a massive W. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Campfires burned.
Yeah, the first table read is February 15th. So that's not next week, but the week after.
Training drums beat. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip. Through it all, the New Vegas Strip has stayed open for business.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You know I'm going to. 110%.
Under the control of its mysterious overseer.
Spencer also made a good point to me too. He's like, the fact that you got the part means that the director saw something in you. He saw potential in you. Most mainstream actors acted in plays before making a bid. Yeah, they did. One of my biggest idols for voice acting is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. He started in theater. He went to Juilliard and he actually he performed in plays with Robin Williams back when they were first just starting out. And he did lots of Shakespeare and theater and he loved it.
Mr. House.
And how he got Batman was his agent called him and said, "Hey, they're looking for a voice for this character in an animated series. Would you be interested?" And at that point in his life, he had never done voice acting before. So he goes to the studio. At this point, the studio's been looking for actors to play Batman for ages, and they couldn't find anybody. And here walks in Kevin Conroy. He goes in and he starts, doing his thing in what he imagines his character being. And it was perfect. He nailed it. And that's how he got the role. But a lot of that came from, his experience as a actor on stage. And that's how he became Batman.
And his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. What's you are a courier. Hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the New Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn.
But yeah, because I've accepted this too, basically how they described to me is it's at first it's like I think 3 days a week the rehearsals, then it goes to 4, then 5, then 6, and then I think it's like pretty much every single day or every other day you're going to the theater to rehearse and practice, which makes sense because you know, there's a lot of lines. You got to make sure they're ingrained in your head. That you've got it like down pat, like it's second nature. But it's going to be an incredible 3 months. It's going to be quite the experience for me.
War.
Now let's listen to this with the music.
War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground vaults. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build. War. War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground. War. War never.
Let's try that again.
War. War never changes.
Vlog it for YouTube.
When atomic fire consumed the earth,
That's not a bad
those
idea,
who
actually.
survived did so in great underground vaults.
That's not a bad idea at all.
When they opened, their inhabitants set out across ruins of the old world to build new societies, establish new villages, form new tribes. As decades passed, what had been the American Southwest united beneath the flag of the new California Republic, dedicated to old world values of democracy and the rule of law. As the Republic grew, so did its needs. Scouts spread east, seeking territory and wealth, in the dry and merciless expanse of the Mojave Desert. They returned with tales of a city untouched by the warheads that had scorched the rest of the world, and a great wall spanning the Colorado River. The NCR mobilized its army and set it east to occupy the Hoover Dam and restore it to working condition. But across the Colorado, another society had arisen under a different flag. A vast army of slaves, forged in the conquest of 86 tribes, Caesar's Legion. 4 years have passed since the Republic held the dam, just barely, against the Legion's onslaught. The Legion did not retreat. Across the river, they gathered strength. Campfires burned. Training drums beat. Through it all, the new Vegas Strip has stayed open for business under the control of its mysterious overseer, Mr. House, and his army of rehabilitated tribals and police robots. You are a courier, hired by the Mojave Express to deliver a package to the new Vegas Strip. What seemed like a simple delivery job has taken a turn for the worse.
Alright, not bad at all. We'll save this as a rough copy. Yeah, vlogging it for YouTube is not a bad idea, Joe. Now, the only thing with that is I'd have to get permission from the director. because I don't know if he would want me posting uh online vlogs of that stuff, because that would like count as spoilers for the play for people going to see it, and if people see that, then uh the director might be a little upset, but we'll see. I'll ask him if it's cool. If anything, I'd probably just vlog like the area where we're practicing our read-throughs. It actually might be good publicity for the play too, now that I think about it, giving short previews. But we'll see. I'll have to talk to the director to see if he's cool with that, because I don't want to start vlogging and then get into trouble for doing that. That's not a bad idea though. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, let's how are we on time actually? I think I've gone a decent amount over time here. Yeah, we're at 2:21. Uh let's let's take a quick little break. I'm going to make some tea and I'll be back and we'll read for a little bit. I'll read for like half an hour or so. So I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. All right, I am back. I'm just noticing now the video I posted on Instagram, even though the preview looked okay, it did not post the way I wanted it to, unfortunately. So I'm not too sure what I should do. I feel like I'll just re-upload it because maybe. I don't know, Joe, if you're still watching, maybe you can take a look for me. It did a weird thing where maybe it's how I upload it. I think it's how I exported it. I need to just re-export and re-upload it. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna do that right now, actually. I'm gonna delete it and then I'll re-export it. Yeah. Okay, well, now part of me is wondering how it or on YouTube it looks okay. Oh, we got another sub. Nice. Thank you, whoever subscribed. I appreciate you. That's nice. All right, let's finish off with a little bit of reading. Oh, yeah, I don't need to repeat what I said, Stephen. Thank you. All right. So let's finish off with a little bit of reading, shall we? All right. So let's continue with our book, Mastery by Robert Greene. Last where we left off, we talked about talking about intuition and how thousands and thousands of years ago, we had this almost occult like intuition to just know how to do certain things. But it is an acquired skill that we have to, in reality, just relearn. And now we are talking about specifically strategies for attaining mastery of intuition. So let's continue. At some point in history, the original navigators in this region must have felt a great degree of fear as they confronted the need to travel to find other food sources. Realizing the tremendous dangers this involved, the ocean must have seemed much more chaotic than the tiny patch of land on their islands. They slowly overcame this fear and evolved a system that was magnificently suited to the environment they lived in. In this part of the world, the night sky is particularly clear through much of the year, giving them the ability to use the changing position of stars to great effect. Using smaller craft allowed them to maintain closer contact with the water, which they had learned to read as accurately as the undulating earth on their island. Imagining themselves as stationary and the islands as moving helped them keep track of their reference points and had a calming effect. They did not depend on a single tool or instrument. This elaborate system existed entirely in their minds. By building a deep connection to the environment and reading all of the available signs, the islanders could approximate the remarkable instinctual powers of animals, such as various bird species, that can navigate around the globe through their extreme sensitivity to the Earth's geomagnetic field. Understand, the ability to connect deeply to your environment is the most primal, and in many ways, the most powerful form of mastery the brain can bring us. It applies equally well to the waters of Micronesia as it does to any modern field or office. We gain such power by first transforming ourselves into consummate observers. We see everything in our surroundings as a potential sign to interpret. Nothing is taken at face value. Like the islanders, we can break these observations down into various systems. There are the people with whom we work and interact. Everything they do and say reveals something hidden below the surface. We can look at our interactions with the public, how they respond to our work, how people's tastes are constantly in flux. We can immerse ourselves in every aspect of our field, paying deep attention. For example, to the economic factors that play such a large role. We become like the Proustian spider, sensing the slightest vibration on our web. Over the years, as we progress on this path, we begin to merge our knowledge of these various components into an overall feel for the environment itself. Instead of exerting and overtaxing ourselves to keep up with a complex, changing environment, we know it from the inside and can sense the changes before they happen. For the Caroline Islanders, there was nothing unconventional in their approach to mastery. Their method fit perfectly their circumstances. But for us, in our advanced technological age, such mastery involves making an unconventional choice. To become such sensitive observers, we must not succumb to all of the distractions afforded by technology. We must be a little primitive. The primary instruments that we depend on must be our eyes for observing and our brains for analyzing. The information afforded to us through various media is only one small component in our connection to the environment. It is easy to become enamored with the powers that technology affords us, and to see them as the end and not the means. When that happens, we connect to a virtual environment, and the power of our eyes and brains slowly atrophy. You must see your environment as a physical entity and your connection to it as visceral. If there is any instrument you must fall in love with and fetishize, it is the human brain, the most miraculous, awe-inspiring, information processing tool devised in the known universe, with a complexity we can't even begin to fathom, and with dimensional powers that far outstrip any piece of technology in sophistication and usefulness. In the first years of the life of their child, the parents of Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955, had cause for concern. Sorry, this is number 2. Play to your strengths. Supreme focus. A. In the first years of the life of their child, the parents of Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955, had cause for concern. It took longer than usual for little Albert to talk, and his first attempts at language were always so halting. See pages 30 and 66 for more on Einstein. He had a strange habit of first muttering to himself the words he was going to speak out loud. His parents were concerned that their son might have a mental deficiency, and they consulted a doctor. Soon, however, he lost his hesitancy with words and revealed some hidden mental strengths. He was good with puzzles, had a knack for certain sciences, and he loved playing the violin, particularly anything by Mozart, whose music he would play over and over. The problems began again, however, as he advanced his way through school. He was not a particularly good student. He hated having to memorize so many facts and numbers. He hated the stern authority of the teachers. His grades were mediocre, and, concerned for his future, the parents decided to send their 16-year-old son to a more liberal-minded school in the town of Araru, near their home in Zurich. This school used a method developed by the Swiss educational reformer Johann Pestalozzi, which emphasized the importance of learning through one's own observations, leading to the development of ideas and intuitions. Even mathematics and physics were taught in this manner. There were no drills or facts to memorize. Instead, the method placed supreme importance on visual forms of intelligence, which Pestalozzi saw as the key to creative thinking. In this atmosphere, young Einstein suddenly thrived. He found the place intensely stimulating. The school encouraged students to learn on their own, wherever the inclinations would take them. And for Einstein, this meant delving even more deeply into Newtonian physics, a passion of his, and recent advances in the study of electromagnetism. In his studies of Newton while at Araru, he came upon some problems in the Newtonian concept of the universe that deeply troubled him and caused him many sleepless nights. According to Newton, all phenomena in nature can be explained through simple mechanical laws. Knowing them, we can deduce the causes for almost everything that happens. Objects move through space according to these mechanical laws, such as laws of gravity, and all of these movements can be measured mathematically. It is a universe that is highly ordered and rational. But Newton's concept relied upon two assumptions that could never be proven or verified empirically. the existence of absolute time and space, both of which were thought to exist independently of living beings and objects. Without these assumptions, there would be no supreme standard of measurement. The brilliance of his system, however, was hard to call into question, considering that based on his laws, scientists could accurately measure the movements of sound waves, the diffusion of gases, or the motion of stars. In the late 19th century, however, certain cracks began to emerge in Newton's concept of the mechanical universe. Based on the work of Michael Faraday, the great Scottish mathematician James Maxwell made some interesting discoveries about the properties of electromagnetism, developing what became known as field theories. Maxwell asserted that electromagnetism Maxwell asserted that electromagnetism should not be described in terms of charged particles, but rather in terms of fields in space that have the continual potential to be converted into electromagnetism. This field consists of vectors of stress that can be charged at any point. By his calculations, electromagnetic waves move at the speed of 186,000 miles per second, which happens to be the speed of light. This could not simply be some coincidence. Light must therefore be a visible manifestation of an entire spectrum of electromagnetic waves. This was a groundbreaking and novel concept of the physical universe. But to make it consistent with Newton, Maxwell and others assumed the existence of a light-bearing ether, a substance that could oscillate and produce these electromagnetic waves, analogous to water for ocean waves, or air for sound waves. This concept added one more absolute to the Newtonian equation, that of absolute rest. The speed of the movement of these waves could only be measured against the backdrop of something at rest, which would be the ether itself. This ether would have to be something strange, covering the entire universe, but not in any way interfering with the movement of planets or objects. Scientists around the world had been struggling for decades to prove somehow the existence of this ether, concocting all sorts of elaborate experiments, but it seemed an impossible quest. And this raised increasingly more questions about the Newtonian universe and the absolutes on which it depended. Albert Einstein devoured everything he could about Maxwell's work and the questions it raised. Einstein himself had a basic need to believe in laws, in the existence of an ordered universe, and experiencing doubts on these laws caused him great anxiety. One day, in the midst of all these thoughts, and while still attending this school at Araru, an image appeared in his mind, that of a man moving at the speed of light itself. As he pondered this image, it turned into a sort of puzzle, or what he would later call a thought experiment. If the man were moving at the speed of light alongside a light beam, he should be able to observe such a beam of light as an electromagnetic field at rest, though spatially oscillating. Intuitively, however, this made no sense to him, for two reasons. The moment the man would look at the light source to see the beam, the light pulse would be moving ahead of him at the speed of light. He could not perceive it otherwise, since visible light travels at that constant speed. The speed of the light pulse with respect to the observer would still be 186,000 miles per second. The law governing the speed of light, or any electromagnetic wave, would have to be the same to someone standing still on Earth, or someone theoretically moving at the speed of light. There could not be two separate laws, and yet, in theory, it still could be supposed that one could catch up with and see the wave itself before it appeared as light. It was a paradox, and it made him unbearably anxious as he contemplated it. The next year, Einstein entered the Zurich Polytechnic Institute, and once again, his dislike for traditional schooling returned. He did not do particularly well at math. He disliked the way physics was taught, and he started taking many classes in totally unrelated fields. He was not a promising student, and had not attracted the attention of any important professor or mentor. He quickly developed a disdain for academia and the constrictions it placed on his thinking. Still deeply troubled by his thought experiment, he continued to work on it on his own. He spent months devising an experiment that could perhaps allow him to detect the ether and its effects on light. But a professor at the Polytechnic revealed to him that his experiment was unworkable. He gave Einstein a paper describing all of the failed attempts to detect ether that had been attempted by eminent scientists, perhaps trying to deflate the pretensions of a 20-year-old student who thought he could uncover what the greatest scientists in the world had failed to accomplish. A year later, in 1900, Einstein came to a life-changing decision about himself. He was not an experimental scientist. He was not good at devising experiments, and he did not enjoy the process. He had several strengths. He was a marvel at solving abstract puzzles of any kind. He could turn them over in his mind, converting them into images he could manipulate and shape at will. And because of his natural disdain of authority and conventions, he could think in ways that were novel and flexible. This meant, of course, that he would never succeed in the slippery world of academia. He would have to blaze his own path. But this could be an advantage. He would not be burdened by the need to fit in or adhere to the standard paradigm. Continuing to work on his thought experiment day and night, he finally came to a conclusion. Something had to be wrong with the entire notion of the physical universe as described by Newton. Scientists were going at the problem from the wrong end. They were straining to prove the existence of the ether in order to maintain the Newtonian edifice. Although Einstein admired Newton, he had no ties to any school of thought. Considering his decision to work on his own, he could be as daring as he liked. He would throw out the idea of the ether itself and all of the absolutes that could not be verified. His way forward would be to deduce the laws, the principles that governed motion, through his reasoning powers and through mathematics. He did not need a university position or any laboratory to do this. Wherever he found himself, he could work on these problems. As the years went by, it would seem to others that Einstein was a bit of a failure. He had graduated from the Polytechnic close to the bottom of his class. He could not find any kind of teaching job, and had settled for a mediocre, low-paid position as an evaluator of inventions for the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. But free to continue on his own, he worked with unbelievable tenacity at this one problem. Even while apparently on the job at the patent office, he would focus for hours on the theory that was forming in his mind. Even when out for a walk with friends, he would continue to ponder his ideas. He had the unusual ability to listen on one track and think on another. He carried with him a little notebook and filled it up with all kinds of ideas. He reflected on his original paradox and all of the embellishments it had undergone and played around with them endlessly in his mind. imagining 1,000 different possibilities. During almost every waking hour, he contemplated the problem from some angle or other. In the course of his deep thinking, he came up with two important principles that would guide him further. First, he determined that his original intuition had to be correct. The laws of physics had to apply equally to someone at rest as to someone traveling at a uniform speed in a spaceship. Nothing else would make sense. And second, that the speed of light was a constant. Even if a star moving at several thousand miles per hour emitted light, the speed of such light would remain at 186,000 miles per second and not any faster. In this way, he would adhere to Maxwell's law on the invariable speed of electromagnetic waves. As he contemplated these principles further, however, another paradox emerged in his mind in the shape of yet another image. He imagined a train speeding along a track, with its lights beaming. A man standing on the embankment would see the light of the beam moving at the expected speed. But what if a woman were running toward or away from the train on the tracks? The woman's speed relative to the train would depend on how quickly she was moving and in which direction. But wouldn't it be the same with the light beam? Certainly, the light beam from the train relative to the woman would travel at a different speed if she were running away or running toward it. And the speed of this beam would be different from the speed relative to the man on the tracks. This one image seemingly called into question all of his guiding principles up until then. For months, he pondered this paradox, and by May 1905, he had decided to give up the entire matter. It seemed beyond solution. On a beautiful sunny day in Bern, he walked with a friend and colleague from the patent office, explaining to him the dead end he had reached, his frustration, and his decision to give up. Just as he said all of this, as Einstein later recalled, I suddenly understood the key to the problem. It came to him in a grand intuitive flash, first with an image, and then with words. A split-second insight that would forever alter our own concept of the universe. Later, Einstein would illustrate his insight through the following image. Suppose a train is moving past an embankment at a constant velocity. A man stands in the center of the embankment. Just as the train moves by, lightning strikes simultaneously at two equidistant points, A and B, to the right and left of the man. Suppose there is a woman seated in the middle of the train who is passing just in front of the man on the embankment as the lightning strikes. She will be moving closer to point B as the light signal travels. She will see it strike ever so slightly ahead of the lightning at point A. What is simultaneous for the man on the embankment is not so for the woman on the train. No two events can ever be said to be simultaneous, because every moving reference frame has its own relative time, and everything in the universe is moving in relation to something else. As Einstein put it, there is no audible tick-tock everywhere in the world that can be considered as time. If time is not absolute, then neither is space or distance. Everything is relative to everything else. Speed, time, distance, and so on, except for the speed of light, which never changes. This was called his theory of simple relativity, and in the years to come, it would shake the foundations of physics and science. Several years later, Einstein would repeat the exact same process for his discovery of general relativity, and what he called the curvature of space-time, applying relativity to gravitational force. He again began with an image, a thought experiment that he pondered for close to 10 years, leading to his breakthrough theory in 1915. From this theory alone, he deducted that the course of light rays must be bent by the curvature of space-time, and had gone even further to speculate the exact bend of the arc for rays of starlight grazing the sun. To the astonishment of scientists and the public alike, during the solar eclipse of 1919, astronomers were able to precisely verify Einstein's speculation. It seemed that only someone with superhuman brain capabilities could deduce such a measurement simply through abstract reasoning. The fame and reputation of Albert Einstein as a freakish genius was born at that moment, and has remained ever since. And I think that is a good place for us to end. We are exactly at the 3-hour mark, I believe. Yes, we are. Perfect timing. So I just want to thank all of you once again. Thank you for 100 subscribers. We are now at over 100 subscribers, actually. We're at 112 now, I believe. Thank you for the support and the love. I really appreciate it. There's a lot more to come. The first part of the new series is out, using the theme for it is AI. So check it out. It's a really cool narration. It's pretty peaceful, honestly. And it's about a garden, an enchanted garden. So do enjoy that. So until next time, so tomorrow I will start streaming later because I got a haircut. But I will stream tomorrow, for sure. I'll probably start around 10 o'clock. That'll be the goal, 10 o'clock. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. And until then, take care.